As an adult, I've lost count of how many times I wish somebody would just press the pause button because it felt like everything is happening at the same time. You have so many priorities, so many commitments, and at the same time, you still have to take care of yourself. If you've ever felt like this, I can relate very well because adulthood is not easy. So today we'll be talking about how to know if you actually need a reset, or maybe you need a good bottle of drink, or better still, a good plate of food. I mean, sometimes good food can solve all these problems. Let's dive right into the video. So the first thing we're going to look at is the signs that you need a reset, and this is broken down into three categories so you can highlight which one you feel and how to fix it yourself. So for this video, the signs that you need a reset is broken down into three categories, and they are mental, emotional, and behavioral signs. The first category we'll be looking at under how to know if you actually need a reset is the mental category, and the mental category has to do with your mind, how you think, how you organize things, and how everything is going upstairs. And one of the signs to know if the mental signs to know if you need a reset is overthinking everything. When you pick up very little things, very minute things, and then make a mountain out of it, you're overthinking. And at that point, you know that on a very normal day, you just do your thing and you're like, okay, I can fix it, or I cannot fix it, and I'll let it go. But at this point, if you're overthinking everything suddenly, you can't seem to make a decision very quickly, then that's a sign that you need a reset. One sign under the mental aspect is difficulty with focus. If you can barely focus, you're doing A, B, C, D at the same time. You want to do everything at the same time, and funny enough, or unfortunately, you don't finish any of them. You're everywhere. Your attention span is very short, and you can barely focus. Then that's a very big sign that you need to go back. You need to pause and have a reset so that you can be able to. The third under the mental sign is feeling mentally drained. If you watch the previous video, we said that anything that can affect your mind can literally affect every aspect of your life. So if you need a reset, one of the signs you notice under the mental aspect is that you feel easily mentally drained, even when you haven't exercised your brain in any way or even done any critical thinking activity. You're suddenly drained, especially when you wake up in the morning. You can't just get your mind to do something, and you're just there. You can't bring your mind, you can't coordinate yourself to do anything. It shows like you're mentally drained and you need a reset. Another category we'll be looking at to know if we need a reset is the emotional category. And one of the signs of knowing that you need a reset when it comes to our emotions is feeling easily irritated. You can't stand anybody, very little things irritate you, and you know this is not what you do on a normal day. Probably on a normal day, you're very patient, you're very kind, and you're like, okay, go ahead what you're doing. But at this point, you can't even stand anybody, very little thing. You notice everything and it irritates you, pisses you off. Then it's time for you to pause and reflect. Next sign under the emotion is feeling overwhelmed by very small things. Even small tasks seems to make you feel as though you're going to do a very big thing. You need a reset. You need to pause. If the things that you do on a normal basis now seem very big for you, let's say washing your clothes. You probably wash your clothes every weekend, and suddenly, in this period of chaos and this period of feeling mentally drained, you can barely bring yourself to bring the small tasks you usually do. Then this is time for you to pause and reflect. The emotions aspect, one of the signs that you need a reset is having very low motivation, especially if you're a creative. Personally, I noticed that before I started this research series, I noticed that I could barely even sit down to look at the camera. I could barely, and I knew I was supposed to do this thing, but there was no motivation, not internally, not externally. Even watching videos, I'm like, oh, people have come again with this talk. So if you're having low motivation, you can't seem to generate it for yourself, and nothing else around your environment inspires you, then you need to reset your life. You need that realignment, and you need that pause. And you have to understand that it's not like you want to give attitude or you don't care. Sometimes it's because you have a lot going on and you're suffering from emotional overload. Now, the next sign or the next category is under behavioral signs. These are the actions that we play, and one of the first one is procrastination. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next tomorrow. I'll do it, and before you know, time is going, week is running, month is running by, and you haven't even brought yourself to do it. If you find yourself procrastinating when it's not your normal thing to do on a very normal day, then you need to pause and reflect. The second sign of someone that needs this reset under behavioral is starting routines without finishing them or without maintaining them. Let's say in the first week you started a routine, a workout routine, and 3 days you did the workout. With time, you stopped along the way. So many other routines that you said you're going to do, probably reading a book or doing certain shows for yourself, and then you stop along the way, then you need a reset. Next one is inconsistent habits. It also has to do with the starting routines and not maintaining them. And another one on the list is avoiding things that you normally do well. This one is one of the biggest ways I would say that the person really needs to sit back and pause, because so many other things may be like, okay, I'm not very good at these things, but when it comes to something that you do very well and suddenly you can't find the joy, you can't find the inspiration to do any of them, something that you excel in, even activities that you enjoy, then it's time to pause, sit back, and know how to realign yourself mentally, emotionally, and otherwise. So before we continue on how we're going to reset or how we're going to go about the reset, we have to actually understand, where does this happen? How does this emotional overwhelm happen? And one of the biggest reasons of emotional overwhelm, especially in this era, is overstimulation from social media, constant information. You're always learning something new, and you're never giving anyone out. And the last, not last but not the least, is having too many opinions, too many people speaking into your life, too many podcasts you're listening to. Listening to podcasts is not bad, but if you have so many voices in your head, you're stressing yourself out, and it makes it difficult to actually make a choice or to make decisions. The next thing that can cause this emotional overwhelm is emotional build-up. So many times this happens to people pleasers, when you've held so much in your heart, when you've endured a lot for a very long time, and at some point you just break down. You can't hold it anymore, and you're like, I can't do this again. And that moment, you find it very difficult to move on, because you've never really been able to express yourself. So this build up now is just like a house that is crumbling. When the house with weak foundations has been holding a whole lot of things up, and then suddenly one day it crumbles. That's exactly how it should be, as if you're holding emotions without expressing them. So in that period, all you just need to do is to pause and reflect. The last point on why all this emotional overload happens is misalignment, and this happens when you've outgrown certain spaces that you are used to, or you've outgrown certain things. Most times some people get stressed out because the person that they are becoming can no longer relate to the person they have been, and it's confusing in the brain. You cannot just fathom how to go about everything. With misalignment comes when you're heavy, being in a place you shouldn't, doing things that you shouldn't be, or being in places that are backward than where you know you should be, or where you're already going. And it happens when your habits no longer align with your priority. I'm going to give it to you is to learn to move one day at a time. Everything at once is the biggest way to break it down. Like you're someone who wants to grow with balance in a sustainable way, not the extreme productivity or growth hacks. You want something sustainable and with clarity. Then don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also turn on the notification button so that whenever I upload a new video, you can get notified and come watch it. Don't forget to watch the next video in this series. Bye.